Kaboom! Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them.
Live from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting around the world. Around the world. You're watching the Teach Them YouTube show. Intellectual, yet stimulating. Fair, frank, and factual. And now,
broadcasting live.
We will broadcast live.
Live. This is Extra Class, streaming to the world and beyond.
Hey, let's go.
You know, it's Teach Them, the #1 intellectual blogging panel on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, this is Nature. Ellis representing for Extra Class, saying we teach them. Little piece of my story, piece of Extra Class story. Yeah. A piece of my life, piece of my life. Hey, teach them, I give them the story. Hey, watch you now. Extra Class control country.
Peeps, big up on yourself. I wanna deal with. We're there. Today is the day that the Court of Appeal, the Jamaican Court of Appeal, the highest court in Jamaica, the Court of Appeal will determine, make a judgment as to whether or not Vice Kartel and his, I don't even know because the conviction has been squashed. But I'll say co-convicts at this time, just for purposes of the stream, will know or learn if they will be required to stand a retrial or they will be free to go home. I suppose a lot of people are nervous. A lot of people are anxious. A lot of people not sure how to feel. The Court of Appeal live stream begins at 2 o'clock. So we'll go over there at 2. But before that, we will, talk about a few things and share a few articles. Probably take a few calls. Also, hopefully share some clips from the road. I am still waiting on my videographer to start setting my stuff. Think he is downtown. And we will, as time progresses, add some things. So yeah, man, co-accused. Okay, rude boy, big up yourself. I suppose that is the correct terminology right now. Seeing that the men were, the conviction was quashed. Yeah, so give thanks to that. Yeah, man, so the wait is almost over. This was an article published in the Gleaner yesterday. So I'll share a few Gleaner. Teach them why is Jamaican people so easily misled. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about now, but I don't know any brother, to be honest with you. I suppose a lot of people prefer to take things, I don't know, at face value, I guess. And it's a very good question. Big up to the people that were there, and I'm soon sure to know it. But let's just share a few articles before. And as I said, for the people who are just coming in, we will join the live stream when the Court of Appeal live stream goes live at 2 o'clock. And we will, whatever the outcome is, we will have a discussion, a conversation as to, how people feel about it and what have you. So, yeah. Family, friends, and fans of entertainer Vice Kartel and this co-accused, as Rude Boy said earlier, will know on Wednesday afternoon whether the man they call World Boss will face retrial or be set free by the Court of Appeal. So Justice Marva McDonald Bishop, the newly minted president of the Court of Appeal, who leads the 3-judge panel, has said that the highly anticipated judgment would be delivered by July 31st. Many of Kartel's fans are waiting with bated breath for a favorable court decision for the controversial entertainer, a judgment that would see the Gaza boss walk free, triggering wild celebrations among his followers. However, Kartel's loyal supporters would have to wait for an extended period to know his fate if the justices send the entertainer and his co-accused back to the court for a retrial. On March 14, 2024, the United Kingdom-based Privy Council, Jamaica's final court of appeal, overturned the convictions of Kartel, whose real name is Adidja Palmer, and co-accused Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John. So when the men last appeared before the court in June, the prosecution was pushing for a retrial, even though there was the likelihood that two of the accused who are charged with the murder of Clive Lizard Williams along with Kartel would have finished their sentence if convicted again. Okay. The men were charged, we don't know all of that already, and them something there. You understand what I say? So yeah, Sir Mike, LT, well, Lieutenant Commander Strawberry, Jerry, what go on, bro? MS, what's going on, Empress? Good to see you. Gawain, all of the people, run. Where are you? Vidal Small, what go on? Russell Bull, teacher, I know you are waiting for an interview. I would relish the opportunity too. You understand? I don't necessarily wait. You understand? Just like any other interview, if it happens, it will be good for the viewers and for the channel. And you know what I mean? One of them things. When you really get caught up or carried away, you know, brother, we just deal with the thing as it comes and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So a little bit more info before we, you know what I mean, probably take a few calls. So Vybz Kartel, who's given, this is another article, I think this was published in the Observer this morning. So Vybz Kartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, and is co-accused Sean, well, I don't know the rest of them. Alright, so let me read it like how they have it. Vybz Kartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, and is co-accused Sean Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John, are accused of killing Clive Lizard Williams on August 6, 2011, after he failed to return two unlicensed firearms. I don't know all of them something there. This is the timeline one? Oh, no, this is not the timeline one. Sir Mike said we'll come back later. So just a synopsis of what has happened so far with the case. So the Court of Appeal is set to rule at 2 p.m. today. On March 14, 2024, the United Kingdom-based Privy Council overturned the convictions. September 30, 2011, Kartel is arrested at New Kingston Hotel by members of the Flying Squad Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. I think the Flying Squad has been disbanded since. I don't know what the Flying Squad became or which unit it is now a part of or which unit is I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe CTAC, I'm not sure. So on September 30, 2011, so September 30 this year would make that what? 13 years? 13 years. On September 30, 2011, Vybz Kartel is arrested at a New Kingston hotel by members of the Flying Squad Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and is charged with possession of a small quantity of marijuana confiscated in a hotel room where he was staying during the filming of his reality dating show Teacher's Pet. He was later charged with the murder of 27-year-old businessman Barrington Bossy Burton. On March 23, 2012, he is granted bail for $3 million after being denied on October 4, 2011, but remained in jail in connection to a second murder, that of Clive Lizard Williams. On July 24, 2013, Vybz Kartel is found not guilty of the murder of Barrington Burton, but remain in custody pending a second murder case. So November 18, 2023, trial for Clive Lizard Williams begins in the Home Circuit Court with jury selection. March 13, 2014, Kartel and 3 co-accused are found guilty by an 11-member jury. A 5th defendant, Shane Williams, was acquitted. The 64-day trial held in the Home Circuit Court is said to be the longest in Jamaica's history. I think the Klansman one-done trial may have surpassed this in the amount of days. Don't quote me on that, but I think, just off the top of my head. April 3, 2014, dancehall artist Vybz Kartel and co-accused are sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. He is to serve a minimum of 35 years before he becomes eligible for parole. April 3, 2020, exactly 6 years to the day, Vybz Kartel lost the appeal against his murder conviction. After a near 2-year wait, the Court of Appeal handed down the judgment of the entertainer. On April 17, 2020, the Court of Appeal allowed the appeals against sentences to the extent of taking account of their time spent in custody awaiting trial and the period of imprisonment to be served by each appellant before becoming eligible for parole was reduced by 2 years and 6 months. On September 25, 2020, Vice Kartel and his co-accused granted conditional leave to go to the Privy Council in the United Kingdom to challenge their murder conviction. February 14 and 15, 2024, the appeal is heard by the Privy Council. On March 14, 2024, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council rules that the appellant's conviction should be quashed on the ground of juror misconduct and that the case should be remitted to the Court of Appeal of Jamaica to decide whether to order a retrial of the appellants for the murder of the deceased. May 30, 2024, the Jamaican Supreme Court denies a habeas corpus application on the men's behalf, ruling that Vice Kartel and his co-accused are to remain behind bars pending a decision in the Court of Appeal on whether they should be retried for murder. On June 10, 2024, hearing on whether Kartel and the three other men should be retried for murder begins in the Court of Appeal. Justice Martha McDonald Bishop, along with Justices Paulette Williams and David Fraser, will decide the case. July 31st, 2024, Judgement and Kartel retrial to be delivered. That is today. So that is the situation. As I said, when I came on, I am sure some people are nervous, some people are anxious, some people don't care, you understand? And some people don't know how to feel, but it's just what it is. So we'll wait until 2 o'clock to join the Court of Appeals live stream. We have been in forums like this a number of times as it relates to this case. Primarily when the appeal court was handing down its judgment to read the local appeal. Also during the Privy Council hearing and the day when the habeas corpus hearing was being heard. So we have had live streams treating with this case on numerous occasions, plus many other different live streams. I have also done numerous videos on different aspects of the case down the years. One very long video doing a total overview of the case in the past. So fairly familiar with the details of the case and such, as many of you are. Sorry. As it relates to what happened in the appeals court recently, and my view as to what may happen today, really and truly kind of dicey. One, based on the number of years that has elapsed since the conviction was handed down, I'm sure that will be taken into consideration by the justices. Also, if a retrial should be ordered, what is the status of the exhibits that were used during the trial? How secure were they? Also, as it relates to the voice notes being made public knowledge, they are still on YouTube, I suppose. Will that, so a whole heap of nuances, and you know, as I've always said, that the court of law and the court of public opinion are two different places, two different things, two different animals. How we think things are going to go oftentimes is not the case. How we think things should go oftentimes is not the case, because the law is just law, I guess. So we'll see. Interesting. And as I said, I know that, you know, different people have different views. So until them time, we are going to probably take a few calls and hear what people have to say and them something there. And also, guys, remember, say a man view is a man view and a man opinion is a man opinion. We can listen. Teach, you think he will walk? As I said, a number of things will have to be taken into consideration. Just like with the appeal, which was, I felt was, you know what I mean, a 50-50 thing. I suppose this again is like that. As it relates to how effective the prosecution was during the hearing in front of the Court of Appeals, is to be seen. As I said, I really don't know. With these things, they're sometimes very technical, and it's just the details is what kind of shows out sometimes. So I mean, 2 o'clock is there. We'll not far, so we see what go on. If you're willing to share your opinion on the situation and your viewpoint and how you feel about the matter and what may transpire, feel free to call. The number is on screen. Creative Minds, somebody is saying justice for Lizard. Somebody is saying free world boss. My Kartel turn in jail in more safe around the Christopher. Things that you teach them. You have the link for the hearing. Just type in the Court of Appeal. No, Jamaica Judiciary. That is the YouTube page that the courts use. But I will also join in. Well, not join. I will stream the stream, so to speak, if you get what I say. So I'll be here. They will not walk. That is the reason they are doing it, and they're live to minimize security risk. I don't think that have nothing to do with the live, to be honest. They have been streaming, hearing judgments in the Supreme Court for a while now. This is not a first or a unique thing. Zane, if Kartel and crew were found guilty 13 years ago, why should they be freed now? I guess the Privy Council felt that the matter should have been retried based on the jury contamination situation. So it remitted the matter to the Court of Appeals in Jamaica to decide as to whether or not, in their wisdom, they feel that there is grounds for a retrial or not. So I don't know. I guess I'm getting some stuff from out in the streets. So I'll share those in a few. Some questions I am really and truly not able to answer in terms of the legal aspects of things. Remember, I have no legal training. All I went is Teachers College, so that is where my skill sets lies. When I say certain things, it's just mostly out of observation. You understand? So we'll watch and see. I mean, it's not far away. It's just less than an hour. Let me see what is in. Just a momento. Boom. Right. So I'm gonna run it. Okay. See, I'm gonna share my screen. All that. Look. So these are just some. I'm gonna try to set up my screen properly. Alright, I'm gonna stop sharing that for now. Just a minute. Right. I really need to change the mouse, and I mean, now I remember when we finish, I need to. It is not mousing, and even during the hurricane stream, I run up into that problem here, you know. But I never. Sure. Yeah, well, go on here, man. Boom. Oh no. Download. Alright, that should be better. Alright, I'm gonna just run through some stuff that I got from off the streets. See what I go on. So as you can appreciate, security will be very strong in and around the appeal courts today. Matt, give me a minute. So these are just shots of the Court of Appeal. Nothing in terms of crowd yet, but I'm sure that will change as the minutes tick by. saw a large contingent of police officers just now fanning out, I guess, taking up different positions. The military is also there, and we see an armored vehicle earlier, so. If you bring that down a little. Okay. Yeah, but that is, well, those were some clips kind of giving you an idea of what the situation on the ground is like. All right, so they are going to order a retrial and there will be no bail. Prosecutor will argue that the bail hearing that the trial will be speedy, so there's no need to grant bail. Valo, big up yourself. Lady Casita, how are you? Zine. Lady Erica, which question Creative Minds asks? I'm not Creative Mind. So who sent the juror to break? Oh, okay. Well, people no longer using common sense and thing. Always. Also, why was the phone used while in lockup? How could that? Creative Minds. To be honest with you, based on the transcript that I have read, the phone wasn't used per se. There was a call of like an outgoing call of less than 10 seconds. I don't want to tell you it's 5, 6, or 7. Probably about 7 if memory serves me correctly. That was registered on the phone. Apart from that, there was no other evidence that the phone was used. And experts from both sides would have perused and analyzed the data. So I'm sure if there was more use of the phone, the expert representing the defense would have pointed that out. So that is as far as I know and I've seen and I've read. So I don't know all of these things. Zane, and also while we're at the discussion, remember that the Privy Council really and truly only focused on the tainted juror situation. They didn't even really look at the evidentiary material of such per se, because for them that was the most glaring issue with the trial, not so much so the evidence. They did not really treat with the even the person who was representing the prosecution in the Privy Council. He was not really asked to treat with the cell phone situation, whether it is the video clips or the voice, whatever it is. They primarily focus on the juror issues because they felt that is where the miscarriage of justice was. I mean, in hindsight, it would also have been good for the Privy Council to have spoken to the validity or lack thereof of the phone evidence. I mean, that would have made it a little bit more clearer as to how they view that aspect of the case. It charge, yeah, all right, change. I got change the run, man. I can't turn up, but when I put in the first, I did about $88 for, no, $1,900. About it $76, and then I said, I look back on it and I said, then, man, I'm go and work with the mouse with a string answer. I still wireless. So there are a number of questions as creative. I don't remember the name of the thing, you know. Is it me? And thing. So I don't know. He will then be remanded until trial date. We are not saying the retrial will be speedy. We are saying that the argument they will use. Okay, right. I think we should turn off the live till it's over. Celebration at 3. Stammer Trump. You understand? As I said, Trump, that's the next story for you next time. Remember the last time I streamed, it was about the assassination attempt at Trump, and we had also looked at the situation re Biden and whether or not he should step away. And I think it was the following day or a couple of days after that. But we talk. People no longer using comments. So creative minds asking some questions that I suppose it was the Privy Council's responsibility. The law lord, so to speak, should have answered another day to prove guilty or not guilty. The court is never interested in innocence. Well, go on, my general. Rapbeard, big up yourself, you know, Zane. He will then lose the retrial. I speaking about the retrial, one of the concerns that the defense raised in front of the Court of Appeals recently is that in the event of a retrial, you can't sentence the men to the same time frame that you did sentence them in the first place. Also, some of them, based on their sentencing and when they'll be eligible for parole, by the time a new trial may start and end, they may have served the initial sentence imposed on them before the culmination of a new trial. So I suppose that was one of the discussion points or the points of discussion. There's an article. Let me see if I can find it and read it, because as we say, I'm no expert on these things, you know, so the people who have more expertise. So D-Day for Vibes Kartel. Vibes Kartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, and is co-accused Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John. Guys, if I'm a little bit nasal, sorry if I cough a little bit, forgive me. I am recovering from another bout of the flu. But it's a next story for you next time. So forgive me. Just bear with me. See? Williams has not been seen. I don't know all of that part. What we want to get to. Alright. So Palmer and his co-accused were then in September of 20... Get all of that. The prosecution case was that the correspondence and communication media taken as a whole with the evidence. I'm going to read from. Let me see if I can find it. Alright. So let me pick it up from here. So... Alright, Palmer and his co-accused were in September of 2020 granted conditional leave to challenge their murder conviction before the Judicial Committee of the United Kingdom Privy Council. In March this year, the Apex Court quashed the murder conviction of the four and remitted the question of whether there should be a retrial to the local Court of Appeal. The prosecution's case was that the correspondence and communication media, taken as a whole with the evidence of the sole eyewitness, prove the fact of the killing, the reason for the killing, the method of disposal of the body, and the identity of at least one of the killers, namely Palmer. However, during a 5-day hearing in June, the appeal court panel reiterated concern that for at least two of the men, there is danger that they could be prejudiced given the length of time already spent behind bars. The issue was first raised by Justice Fraser during submissions by Acting Director of Public Prosecutions Claudette Thompson on arguments by the defense that the time lapse since the trial and the subsequent appeals is a sufficient factor to militate against the making of any author for a new trial. Looking at the length of time the various men were sentenced to in respect to the parole period and looking at the length of time they have already been in custody, how does that factor in the question of delay if there is retrial, say at the earliest time? They probably would have been in custody for 15 years by the time the retrial starts, Justice Fraser pointed out. The minimum sentence if convicted would be 15 years, so someone who has 25 years, for example, and has gone 15, how does that factor into what the court has to decide and balance the competing interests? He asked then. Thompson, in seeking to satisfy the court, said there is the determinate sentence with a pre-parole of not less than 10 years. When one considers this offense and the principles established in case law, we would urge on you that it is unlikely that these appellants will be offered that minimum mandatory of 15 years. Additionally, we submit that the court would have to take into consideration, if there were to be a retrial and conviction, the period already spent in custody. And so it would be a determinate sentence that would be considered. A determinate sentence has a definite length and cannot be reviewed or changed by a parole board or any other agency. Appeal Court Judge Justice Marva McDonald Bishop was, however, quick to note, in response to Thompson, you cannot retry someone and give them a higher sentence than they had received before. So the thing here, so somebody was sentenced 25 to life initially. You can't sentence them more than 25 years again the next time around in a retrial, basically. See? So let us say all of them get life, but the pre-parole minimum term varied. So you have to separate them now. Because if we send them back and they are to get a pre-parole period higher, that would prejudice them. When the acting DPP replied that based on the circumstances of the case and the allegations, the prosecution's only answer to the panel is that it is unlikely that they would be given the minimum mandatory. Justice McDonald Bishop said while Palmer could be given the minimum and work out not prejudice, there are two that would stand to be prejudiced based on the length of time served in custody. When Thompson replied, the reality is we do not have an answer beyond the answer I just gave you. McDonald Bishop said we have to look at it because credit for time served is a constitutional remedy for deprivation of liberty. So that is something we have to look at. So all of them look at things that are going to be taken into consideration, I guess. In the context of two of them, they would have already practically served their sentence and they can't get an higher sentence. Now, defense attorney John Clark's attempt to take the issue further by suggesting that a bill now being contemplated by Parliament to make the mandatory minimum parole period for murder 45 years could make matters worse for the men was, however, shot down by the president of the Court of Appeal. Isn't there a principle from when we were back in law school that you cannot apply a law to a person that was not in force at the time he committed? Oh, so if the law even change, it is not what I word there again? Retroactive. So if the law change minimum to parole being 45 years, it can't be applied to people who are served sentences already. It has to be applied to people who are sentenced when that become law. Somebody just read that. It kind of not easy to follow along still, but the gist of it is that what the defense and the appeal justices were concerned about is whether or not, in the event of a retrial, will it not be a situation that at least two of the men would have served up to where they can apply for parole? And if so, how do we treat with that? So I guess it's a little bit of delicate balancing of all sort of things. So, I mean, I am always interested to see how these things work out as we try to learn the inner workings and outer workings of the law, I suppose. Interesting. So, yeah. I'm just going to say in a comment because I'm not using the idea, no, not retroactive or grandfather. Yeah, man, that is the word that we were looking for. The system does not want Kartel free. It is being said that he's too influential. But then Kartel's influence has changed since he has been incarcerated. I don't know that his influence has waned any at all. As a matter of fact, put it this way. Tell me about any man else in Jamaica who is in prison whose influence is still as strong as Kartel is since he has been incarcerated. So I don't know that his influence is I mean, I guess he would be free to do other things if he was out, in fairness. But I don't know that, I don't know. Do you think he will get a fair chance today? I don't know today is about a fair chance or not. It's not, him is not on trial. What the justice will be doing will be determined as to whether or not there will be a retrial or they can go home. Well, everybody can go home if they are freed except Kyra Jones. Because Kyra Jones was sentenced on a different gun-related case since he was convicted in the Kartel case. So him have to serve time same way, you understand? So him not have nowhere to go right now, based on his situation with the courts. See him? So I have no reasons to doubt the integrity of the three justices who will deliberate at 2, to be honest with you. So Constitutionally, everybody is entitled to free, fair time in front of the courts, and I have no reason to feel that won't be the case. So yeah, my prediction, I really can't tell you. It is a little bit dicey. I mean, it was more clear cut with the Privy Council, as I couldn't tell you. Say, one, there will at least be a retrial. Like I had gone on record to say that. With this now, I don't know. I suppose based on factors in terms of the time elapsed, in terms of the integrity of the evidence, the accused men may feel that, you know, they have a very strong chance of not going back to trial. The prosecution may feel otherwise. So we'll see. Free the artists. Why you people still have the artists in prison? And I know people don't have any, I think, a solid evidence. Your wicked system. New phone. Blessings. But I want to tell you though, new phone. I think it was at least 30 pieces of evidence that was presented during the trial still. So I don't know. Yeah. What time is it in Jamaica? It is now 1:36 p.m. and the appeals court judgment will start at 2. So we are less than 15 minutes away from that. You understand? I mean, I understand the emotions that drive people in these situations. I'm kind of trying to see. I think I've gotten better as I've gotten older, and the more that I've done this YouTube thing to kind of step away from emotions and such and just treat with the things as they are. You understand? It is very unlikely that you will have a 60-day trial that solid evidence would have been put forward. So, I'm not sure about that. You understand? I think. So, sweet music. Big up yourself, my friend. Yeah, man, I appreciate the support continually. You know what I mean? So, well, I can't tell people how to think or analyze things. I can only speak for myself. As I said, what I try to do is to treat with facts versus opinions. And, you know, I kind of try to stay upon that side of the divide. It is not, you know what I mean, fulfilling to some people. You know, I guess that is why our views are probably not as great as they could be, because my aim is not to come here for, you know what I mean, sensationalize stuff or things, and you know, some people don't find that very attractive. But you have channels that does that, so there's always options. You understand what I say? I wouldn't hold it against you. Cornelius Grant, big up yourself. You see me? So we watch and see. With the court, funnily, with the Court of Appeal situation, I don't think it is as clear cut, or straightforward as it was with the Privy Council. With the Privy Council, we were not privy to live viewing of the Court of Appeal matter either. With the Privy Council, we were able to watch every single day. So it became very apparent what direction the thing was heading. With the Court of Appeal thing now, it is not as clear cut, in my own opinion. One, because I wasn't able to sit and watch. I only read what was reported in the print media, and stuff. So it is a little bit more difficult to make a concrete assessment based on that situation. So it is what the 3 justices will have looked at. And I'm sure they would have looked at all evidentiary material, all materials available for the case. Also look at the submissions, the oral submissions and the written submissions from both the prosecution and the defense, and they will now weigh all those submissions and all those material and decide what in this situation would be the best course of justice, and they will make that judgment. As a matter of fact, put it this way too. whatever the Court of Appeal does today is final. If the Court of Appeal says retrial, I suppose that is final. If them say the men should go home, that is it. It is final. So a lot is at stake, I suppose, for the men, the accused men, and thing. Also, resource speaking, a lot is at stake as well for the judiciary, as a retrial of this case would also be strenuous on resources as it was prior. And I suppose that was one of the dilemma that caught the trial judge, based on where the case was and the amount of energy and time and resources expended throughout the case. He decided in his wisdom that even though there is evidence that the jury had been tainted, it is best to proceed, and it has so turned out that the Privy Council did not agree with that, as they are suggesting that, one, the matter should have been retried from scratch, because we don't have in our judiciary a situation where the judge can take over the trial in the middle of the trial and disband the jury, and there had to be at least 11 members of the jury for it to be constituted as a jury per se. So a whole heap of look up things here, sir. So the judge decided, I mean, in discussion with the prosecution, because they had consulted the DPP, and that was the situation. So that is why we are where we are. If the matter had been tried, retried, thrown out and retried, would we be here? I guess we don't know. But it's what it is, I guess. One of them things we see what go on. Again, if you want to say something via phone before we go over to the stream, you're free to do so. And thing. So the numbers are on screen. Well, the number is on screen. The system of the man away. So we know them are going to retrial him. But we want to see him free. Serve him time already. Yeah, right. Teach must be objective. The man must be freed, and that is it. Zine and thing. So yeah, James man, when I deal with the youth, the system, the victim have family who need justice. Kevin Walters, blessings, I suppose Kevin is asking, so what is the justice for Clive Lizard Williams' family? And is it possible he will be denied a retrial? There are a number of possibilities. One, the justices may order a retrial, or they may say them can go home. So those are the two likelihood, I guess. Sticky. Zane, he will go home this evening. What about Kartel getting medical treatment? Lady Rita Lynn, I am not sure exactly what you mean, read that. Isaac Newton, you can't cuss the person for them opinion. Let's wait and see what the verdict reads, people. As we Jamaicans need to stop supporting the criminals. Kartel deserve to stay where him there. Zane. Really, what are you doing, fam? I'm going to go free, man. Where is the body? Zane. I hope. Lady Janet, what's going on? A lot of the regular viewers them there. Oh, no, work. We say really, man, Lady Janet and a lot of the regular oh, no work. I'm just kidding. I know probably someone of that in some places where the time kind of different. Good afternoon, caller. Hello. Hello.
Teach them.
Blessings, my brother. How are you?
Yes, brother.
Well, go on.
Yeah, man. One love. Job peak straight out of Philadelphia. No have to call for the international minute, you know.
That's a word, man. Are the pray?
Yeah, man. Yeah, me there, man. Me there. I listen to the program and me listen to Wagwan. But what me I say is not even pertaining to this right now. I was just about to ask you about what was your thinking about the JDF soldier of his death, if you did talk anything.
Initially, it was reported as a suicide. That was what the first report that I saw. But then when I got the pictures and observed what happened, well, based on what I saw in the pictures, normally based on my observation of suicide cases with guns, people normally shoot themselves in the mouth and they made in it. I've never seen a case where a man shoot himself in the chest via suicide. So then other reports now started coming out and it was not definitive. They weren't saying X or Y. We haven't heard that it's a homicide investigation, but it don't look to me like it is what was reported first. Just based on my common sense observation.
From what I think, I mean, it's an assumption. I believe that the little girl told somebody about the situation. And whosoever I'm telling wasn't a person who was going to tell this to the police. They was going to do something on their own. So not more than them probably just go ahead and make the arrangement, the little girl and this soldier. If that's really the case, they make the arrangement and link up where the little girl make her inform, but him no know, and then another person come and probably do the action and just
a lot of speculation. But as for me,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, man, I respect that. Yeah. As for me, the initial report said suicide. That is not the case. Just for me, I have heard reports that he was being investigated by a state agency and a lot of things. Also, there are some maybe defensive marks on his hand. There were scratches and stuff. Not sure if he was trying to defend himself. Right? So I don't know. So we are watching and see, sir. You understand? But we could focus on that one for today and we talk about next. Because I'm supposed to stream tomorrow night again. A regular stream. So I go on.
Okay, well, all right. We there. We check in.
Yeah, big up yourself, big brother, man. Manners and respect.
For the justice.
Yeah, man. Blessings.
Respect from.
Father Marvin, yeah, man. As me say, with these things, and a lot of things has been shrouded in secrecy as well. So we just observe and watch. But it seems to me like there was foul play involved. That is it. You understand? Some people say him should stay, but they weren't there. A man charged for weed and murder. Something is not right. But well, there's nothing peculiar about that. I suppose he was held on the weed charge initially, and then those other charges were laid. I don't think those charges were nothing new in terms of on the table leading up to his arrest. So, I don't know. Big up yourself, Costa Rica tune in. What is the verdict? The verdict is not out yet officially. The appeal court will start its deliberations giving its judgment at 2. So at 2 o'clock, I will go over to that link so you can actually see it here while it's going on. So be not afraid. You understand? We have the thing covered. You see me? G, from all indications, you are a sympathizer or supporter of criminals. He and his accomplice should not rot in prayer. Father Peter Campbell, big up yourself. If that is what you get, that is what you get. I will not try to tell you otherwise. And that is fine. You're entitled to your observation and your opinion, my friend. Blessings. You understand? I first me ask your name over here, so Zane, you know me from Adams, and you are using a few seconds to determine because I don't say X or Y. That's okay. Yeah, son. See me? So I suppose also that one of the issues that we face as a country too, and this is directly in relation to the gentleman just now, is that our ability to reason and to fathom when somebody is just trying to You know what I mean? Be fair, frank, and emotionless one way or the other is always misconstrued. Like, why I don't even know? Jaja. Him attack like he was there. Them fool, yeah, man. Ralston, I missed that. Ralston, the interviews will... There's nothing wrong there apart from the fact that I just did need some rest, brother. Mentally, physically, I just did need a break, so I kind of do that, and we'll be back. Bro, how you do? Any manga? Then Rosie, you know, say burial blow off all like manga them off for 3 sis. What you mean? Then not even blossom burial left out there. Yeah, that's that. So, teach. I am not here to say he's innocent or guilty, but the facts of the case and how it was carried out say he should be let go. That's one viewpoint there. I could say, Renee, it's good to see you. Hope you're okay. Yeah, then Rosie, I know mango season gone with burial. No, funny enough, I have gotten mango since burial, but I don't know what really I go on. A lot of the trees, the mangoes were blown off, then so I don't know how much mango you can get. So, you understand? A mango season are done too. Yes, Alvin, man, the interviews will be back in due course. There is nothing to be alarmed about. I have done practically 300 interviews in less than 2 years. Research them myself. Sit down, record them, sit down, edit them. I just need to breathe sometimes. It is just what it is. We just have to do what we have to do to keep ourselves going for a longer time as well. You understand? Can't do everything one time or one night. It takes a little bit of time. But we're there, man. Nothing really changed. You see me? Just the need to take a break and stuff. You see me? And in between that time, I have had 2 bouts of very, very bad flu. Just finishing recovering from the second one. So leading up to burial, I was sick for a while. After burial, I have been sick for a while. So in there, so that too. And I guess that's a part of the thing when I just need to slow down sometime, rest some more, and just try to take care of myself a little bit better too. You understand? So all of them little things there is me factor in. And I mean, other people there, I do interviews and man, what? And I'm me alone the interviews. What's an interview some other places, man? You understand? Till we forward back. But soon, don't worry about it. You understand? Probably about the second or so week in August when we start the interview again. When we interview that crew, whenever the opportunity presents itself, you know, my friend, I would love the opportunity, but I suspect the screw is not in Jamaica and it may be a little bit challenging, so I don't know. Because I do the virtual interview type thing. If I try to document something for the future, I want control over the video and the audio. I do an interview and the person when I interview a buffer and couple seconds drop out the sun. No, I can't deal with that. So, and then when you're sitting beside someone, the vibe is different. See, it's just like you talking on the phone to somebody, it's a different vibration when you sit down beside the person in a real life. So, some little things. I just have some little things about me. I'm going to really force things like that, sir. Zane, so we are getting ready to go over to the Privy Council, not the Privy Council, the Court of Appeal site. Zane, yeah, James, man, you alright, you know. You're quite fine. You understand what I say? You alright. Zane? So, me there wait for you, but you're good. Me do your meds right now. You understand what I say? What you have to do is line up to interview and tap in eyes. A different vibe when you're in person. Yeah, man. So don't worry about the interviews, man. Them there. Zane? James, man, what you think about the situation? Give me a call, man. I could talk and sit, man. Yeah, it's alright. See, so that's the situation, guys. It has been, I think, the entertainer and the co-accused were arrested in 2011. That is a long time. What happened to Sugar Ray and Conrad Crystal interview? Well, apparently them not do yet, like many others. So we still are going. You understand? And things. So I don't know. We're going to interview as many people as are willing to be interviewed, man. As I said, I just have to take a little break and, you know what I mean, one next James Bond there. So much I don't know. James Bond, big up yourself. How come you never interview Josie Whale? You know what Josie Whale said now in the interview? I'm saying not do the camera thing. Me have a lot of stories, you know. It's more time, but it's true when do the bag of talking thing more time. But not for the favorite artists, them not easy to deal with, you know. You understand? And to be frank with them, I not run down nobody right now. I reach a stage now where I not run down a soul. So if a man want to do an interview, I make myself available. If him not interested, me gone to another one. With the great Josie, him tell me straight up, and I respect that. I respect the man that will come and say, you know, I not do the interview versus the man that when I try to grow on the thing, and you understand, I'm not upon that. So, but him say I'm not doing the interview. You understand? So, and like, I have so many stories of so many different people, but we leave that as it is. So, and again, while we soon gone over, so a lot of people think these interviews think, oh, people line up on my gate. First thing, people not even know where I live. You understand? I wait for my interview. No, unnecessary work. Zane, my sister is the one that treats with that aspect of the interview. And, like, I admire her restraint and her professionalism and her patience, because me not have so much of that sometimes to deal with some of the man them and some of the woman them. You understand? So I really appreciate what she does and that aspect of the thing. Yeah. Yeah, man. 2 o'clock yet? No, still not 2 o'clock yet. So we soon go over. As soon as I'm ready, we're going over there. You understand? Zane, you have a next set of man who say them nah do no interview unless we pay them. That will never, which camera am I looking at? That will never happen. I will never pay a man to do an interview. Never. You understand? Just like I will never collect $1 from a man to do an interview. That will never happen. Me have man who tell me say $500,000 them take for do interview. Me I say, yeah, I say a word. More if you see up on couple interview. Manners and respect. You have some man who say when them do interviews with BBC, them sign contract and this and that. Like, brother, means I look at youth from country where I try document some history around here. And I try to feed the family. You understand what I say? Then what BBC have to do with me? You understand? Some man... Look, I don't wish to get into all of that now, but just know, say, when you see some interview and I appreciate them and watch them, and when you see some, just know, say, it may not happen. That's all. You understand? So, Zane, I will write a few books about the journey, you know, so you can buy them and read them and write them. I could go over here to go see if they're ready now. They're not ready over there yet still. I can refresh the page just to make sure. You understand? I have a list of names that I have sat down, done research for, because date and time were scheduled for the interviews. Zane, but 115 names, and those interviews haven't been done because for whatever reason, them not man change their mind. I have gone to interviews before, and when I reach, the man them said then, oh, this looks so like a real TV. Like, but think it's a phone you come with them something. Now, we can't do no interview now unless we talk some money. I pack up my gear them and go back to my yard, drop off my staff and come home. You understand what I say? Look here. We're not going to learn some things in our future. But as I say, we not get up and talk. Because at the end of the day, some interviews will happen, some won't. I've been losing sleep over no interview. I am at a stage now where I'm not losing sleep over no interview. You understand what I say? That is just the reality. If them happen, them happen. If them not happen, them not happen. You understand? Everybody alright after. What I can tell you though is that there's no artist that I've ever interviewed that don't benefit some way, shape or form from the interviews as well. But that's the next story for you next time as well. So, it's one of them things. Zane. And I guess some man start look on you now and say, yo, teacher make money to you know, so we're gonna need like how much money me can make from an interview versus where artists are gonna live a dub plate studio for months after I do the interview. Them things a whole heap of little things. It's just that we have made a name now that, you know, we have been blessed. So most people see the thing for what it is and willing to sit down and all a reason. Some people not so much. You understand? So, I don't know. I just earn my head over these things some more, brother. And as I said, I just need a break to need a rest. So I just take that. You understand what I say? Remember, you know, I never start the channel pan interviews, I never chart it. So the channel have various different directions so it can survive. Just put it there, so. You understand? One of them things. Alright, I could go over here so now, because they say at 2 o'clock. I don't see if they're ready yet. They ready? Nah, you're not from over there yet still, but I guess as soon as they're ready, we'll start here some audio. So, and them look at things are peeps, we don't really. If you know me, you know, say, one, we don't get carried away or caught up at no point in time. You understand? And I not overexpose myself. Because some of the man, them, you have to dare them foot and they round them like a group. I not depend that with no guy. No time. You understand what I say? I not go road unless me feel for go road. I not do things unless me feel for do it. Oh, them start. No open our ear.
If it pleases you, Madam President. Yes, it's a pleasure to address you as such a lady. For the first time, the appearances, congratulations, lady. The appearances in this matter for the appellants: John Clark, Isa Buchanan, Alexandra Labiche, and Mr. Iqbal.
Yeah, I know it's low. That is the audio that I am getting. I am trying to boots it still.
The acting director of public prosecution, Mr. Yannick Fox, the assistant director, and Mr. Rashid Lee are present today, and we're all here with bated breaths, awaiting the court's judgment in this matter.
Thank you, Counsel. On diverse days between the 10th and 18th of June 2020.
For those complaining about the audio, that is the level of audio that I am getting, so I cannot give you more than what I'm getting. I'm trying to boots it though.
Retrial, that question of a retrial that was remitted from the Privy Council to this court. At the end of the submissions, we reserved our judgment, and the court is now ready with its decision. The decision of the court is unanimous, and we have a judgment in writing, which is still subject to editing in any event because we were trying to make the deadline. What we have done is to extract a summary of our reasons for the decision, with the promise to release the full judgment as soon as possible. So what the court has today is a summary, which is in writing and will be released. And we have a disclaimer. This summary is provided for the sole purpose of assisting members of the public with understanding the Court of Appeals decision in this matter. It does not form part of the reasons for the court's decision and should not be used as a substitute for the judgment of the court, which is the only authoritative record of the court's reasons. The full judgment of the court will be made available to counsel and through the court's website at www.courtofappeal.gov.j. On 13th March 2024, the appellant, Sean Campbell, also known as Sean Storm, Adija Palmer, also known as Vibes Kartel, and Kahira Jones and Andre St. John, also known as Matsus, were convicted of the murder of Clyde Williams, also known as Lizard. The appellants appealed their convictions to the Court of Appeal and then to His Majesty in Council. On 14th March 2024, 10 years and 1 day after they were convicted in the Supreme Court, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council recommended that the appellant's convictions be quashed. The Privy Council remitted to this court for determination the question of whether the appellants should be ordered to stand a new trial. Over 6 days, the court comprising Judges of Appeal MacDonald Bishop, P. Williams, and D. Fraser heard arguments by counsel for the appellants on the Crown on that question. The court has considered counsel's written and oral arguments, as well as the authorities and evidence filed by both sides, and has arrived at a unanimous decision. For a fulsome appreciation of the question remitted to this court for determination, and the court's resolution of the issues and sub-issues raised by the parties relative to that question, an abbreviated summary of the background is provided. The allegations in the court below were that the deceased and Lamar Chow, the prosecution's sole eyewitness, had been given 2 unlicensed firearms belonging to Palmer for safekeeping. The appellant Palmer gave Lamar Chow and the deceased a deadline of 8:00 p.m. on 14th August 2011 to return them, with which they failed to comply. As a consequence, Lamar Chow and the deceased were summoned by the appellant Campbell to the appellant Palmer's house at Swallowfield Avenue, Havendale, which we call the Swallowfield premises. They went there by taxi on 16th August 2011, accompanied by Campbell, and on arrival were met by the appellants Palmer, Jones, and St. John. The appellant Palmer asked what plans Lamar Chow and the deceased had for replacing the firearms, to which the deceased replied that he would replace them. They were then both attacked, after which Chow saw the deceased lying motionless on the ground, with the appellant Jones bending over him. Lamar Chow escaped, but the deceased was never seen again, and calls to his mobile phone went unanswered. A team of police officers went to the Swallowfield premises to investigate the alleged homicide. They noticed that the house smelled of disinfectant. When the police returned to the premises on a subsequent visit, they found that the entire interior of the house had been destroyed by a fire. On a further police visit, it was discovered that the rear of the house had been demolished. The police dug at the premises but did not find anything of significance to their investigations. The appellants were taken into custody on 30th September 2011 and subsequently charged for the deceased's murder. They have been detained ever since. The appellants were tried in the Home Circuit Court before Justice Campbell, the trial judge, sitting with a jury. The trial lasted 64 days. During the course of the trial, there were 3 incidents involving the jurors. The first and second incidents are not relevant to these proceedings and will therefore not be discussed. It suffices to state that after the second incident, the jury panel was reduced to 11 members. The third jury incident came to light on 13 March 2014, the last day of the trial judge's summing up of the case to the jury. Following the report of possible jury misconduct, the trial judge convened a hearing in chambers and informed counsel on both sides that he had been made aware that a juror, who we call Juror X, attempted to bribe another member of the jury with an offer of $500,000 to decide the case in a particular way. The trial judge and counsel on both sides questioned the forewoman of the jury in chambers. The forewoman informed them that Juror X had spoken to all the jurors and encouraged them to free the appellants without regard to the evidence. There was no evidence to connect any of the appellants with the activities of Juror X. Faced with the possibility of having to abort the trial judge heard submissions from the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, and Defense Counsel. Despite Defense Counsel's resistance, the trial judge decided to continue with the summing up and handed the case over to the jury that evening. The jury deliberated for over 3 hours and by a majority of 10-1, convicted the appellants of the deceased's murder on the same day. The appellants were each sentenced by the trial judge to imprisonment for life at hard labor, with the stipulation that the appellants, Campbell and Jones, should serve a minimum of 25 years in prison before becoming eligible for parole, and the appellants, Palmer and St. John, should serve a minimum of 35 and 30 years, respectively. The appellants were unsuccessful in their appeal to this court and appealed to the Privy Council. The Privy Council allowed the appellants' appeal and quashed their convictions on the basis that the trial judge's treatment of the third incident of jury misconduct was a material irregularity in the course of the trial, giving rise to a miscarriage of justice. In the Privy Council's view, the trial judge should have done more to investigate the third incident of jury misconduct and not rely solely on the forewoman's account. Furthermore, allowing Juror X to continue to serve on the jury was fatal to the safety of the convictions and was an infringement of the appellant's fundamental right to a fair hearing by an independent and impartial court under Section 16 of the Constitution of Jamaica. Lastly, the fact that the prosecution was prepared to waive the irregularities in the trial did not absolve the trial judge of his responsibility to ensure a fair trial. In all the circumstances, the trial judge ought to have discharged the jury and ended the trial in order to protect the integrity of the system of trial by jury. Against this background, the court has to determine whether the interests of justice require that the appellants be ordered to face a new trial or whether judgments and verdicts of acquittal should be entered. The court starts with the Constitution, which provides that upon conviction, a person should not be tried for a second time unless a court of superior jurisdiction, which is the appellate court, orders that there be a retrial. The Constitution did not set out the circumstances in which the court should order a retrial. It is to case law that the court looks to determine what are the principles applicable to the question of whether there should be a retrial. The court looked at all the applicable legal principles governing the question of a new trial, which was set out most authoritatively by the Privy Council in the case of Reed against the Queen. We will not state the citation at this time, but that is in writing. The court also looks at other principles emanating from subsequent cases since Reed, and we have an amalgamated list of those factors. There are 12 factors that the court has considered. The seriousness and prevalence of the offense, that's one. 2, the strength of the prosecution's case. 3, the availability of the prosecution's witnesses and exhibits. 4, the availability of the defense witnesses. 5, delay and whether a retrial can be facilitated within a reasonable time. 6, the time, financial costs, expense, and impact on the court's resources of a new trial if one is ordered. 7, the ordeal to be faced by the appellants if a new trial is ordered. 8, the impact of prejudicial publicity on the fairness of a new trial, if ordered. 9, whether the new trial would give the prosecution an unfair advantage. 10, changes in the Jury Act. 11, potential legislative changes in the sentence for murder. 12, the possibility of prejudice arising from the mandatory minimum sentence and minimum term before eligibility for parole. We have considered all the factors governing the court's determination of whether a new trial should be ordered, and have given due regard to all the material, submissions, and evidence presented by the appellants and the Crown. We commence by stating that the egregious nature and seriousness of the offense in this case is beyond argument. So too is the prevalence of the offense of murder in Jamaica. We make bold to say that the features of this case bear every hallmark of a deliberate attack on and barefaced defiance of law and order, involving allegations of transactions relating to illegal firearms, a killing in respect of which the body of the deceased has not been recovered, or should we say an alleged killing in which the body of the deceased has not been recovered, and interference with a crime scene while it was under the control of the police. The court is therefore satisfied that the nature, seriousness, and prevalence of the alleged offense in this case are powerful factors that weigh in favor of a retrial. The court, however, finds that there are several equally powerful factors which, when combined, militate against ordering a new trial. In summary, these factors are the insufficient and inadequate account by the prosecution for the availability of its witnesses and trial exhibits. Witnesses and trial exhibits relied upon by the appellants, which tended to support their defense at their first trial, are now unavailable or cannot be accounted for. 3, the appellant's trial in the Supreme Court was complex, lasting 64 days, and utilized a significant share of the court and the appellant's resources. Therefore, the time, financial costs, expense, and impact on the court's resources, as well as other cases in the queue awaiting trial, we find that this is significant and it militates against a new trial. 4, the psychological, financial, and medical effect that a new trial would likely have on the appellants who have already spent 13 years in custody, which is demonstrated by medical and other affidavit evidence. We look at the medical problems relating to the appellant Palmer, which came through medical reports that stand unchallenged by the Crown and therefore speak to declining health in the penal institution. The court looks at the lapse of time between the commission of the alleged offense and the likely time in which a new trial would take place, which would, in our estimation, be at least 15 years. We find that to be inordinate. 6, the unjustifiable interference with the appellant's constitutional rights to a fair hearing within a reasonable time under Section 16 of the Constitution of Jamaica and the potential for that breach or interference, we should say continuing, if a new trial is ordered. We look at the potential prejudice to at least 2 of the appellants who, if convicted after a new trial, would be required to serve a longer term of imprisonment before eligibility for parole than that which was originally imposed upon them after their first trial due to the operation of the statutory mandatory minimum for the offense of murder. The court looks at other factors which it did not see swinging the pendulum either way, and our judgment will explain it all. We find that the submissions regarding pretrial publicity did not assist the appellants. We find that pretrial publicity is such that you would have to prove that it is impossible to obtain a fair trial. And that question is one for the trial court. What the court did find coming out of the issue of pretrial publicity is if the mechanisms have to be employed as the Crown had argued, that would add to the delay of the proceedings. As we have said, we have looked at all the other factors, but we find by now, having weighed everything in the balance, that the countervailing, the weight is against a new trial. Our judgment will explain everything in depth, but as we say, this is for the decision, for you to understand what the court has done. Having regard to all the considerations the court has taken into account, we conclude that the interests of justice do not require a new trial to be ordered for the appellants, and we therefore make the following order. Judgments and verdicts of acquittal are entered in relation to the appellants. We must, on the record, thank our judicial clerks, Mr. Jordan Jarrett, Mrs. Yumika Harris Mackenzie, and Mrs. Nicole McLennan, and Miss Chanel Hunter.
So on the gist of that, the men have been fully acquitted. No retrial will be ordered.
Court and the various things that we had to do over the past couple of weeks. So we give them the weight of the credit, and we thank them wholeheartedly for their assistance. It leaves us to thank counsel on both sides for your spirited, maybe sometimes combative arguments, but we have learned tremendously from both sides, and we hope that the judgment will show that we appreciated the scholarship and appreciated the issues for resolution. So that is it. The appellants are freed.
There you go, peeps. That is what the Court of Appeal has said. The men are free to go. As based on their assessment, the negatives of offering or ordering a retrial is too much. It's too much weight on that. And in their judgment, in their assessment, the men should not be exposed to same for financial, psychological, health, prejudicial, and time spent reasons. So the court has spoken and no retrial. So, and let me put this out there. So Kartel, Sean Storm, and Andre St. John will be free to go. Kahira Jones will have to remain in prison because he is serving time for another sentence. So whilst he's free in this matter, he is still going to remain in prison because he's serving time for another gun-related matter. Lawful, big up yourself, bro. Give thanks. You know, I appreciate the continued support. You know what I mean? So that is the situation, peeps. I was sent an interview not sure who in the interview by my videographer earlier. So let me see if I can share what that is about and things. So that is, we wait on the reaction coming from downtown Kingston. I await the videos and stuff. I'll share them as soon as I get them. But for the people who are just joining, Vibes Kartel, Sean Campbell, Kahira Jones, Andre St. John has been freed unconditionally, and as such will be allowed to go home, except Kahira Jones. He is serving time for another thing, as I said. That's just the nature of the law, I guess. We move, I suppose. Work setting. Hey, Kerry, what's up? Hope work is treating you well.
Yeah, Kartel for free to their time.
Whew. I'm out for death, man. Hold on there. Alright, I'm gonna share some things I don't know over here, so.
Yeah, Kartel for free to their time now for them free world boss. Look how long. A long time now. A time for them free Kartel. Free the boss. Today. Today, I know the Kartel are gonna get free. Any of them not free today when a bias. Cause time now, a long time now. The man do how much time now, so time now. Today, him come a road straight. So you say time come. Yeah, right, true. Of course, straight up, straight, time come. Kartel at today for the road. Today you do as much already. You can't do no more. 13 years, that is as much. But see people do it worse than what them claim for the Kartel do, and them they are road. So why Kartel can't come at time now if you come now? Them for free the world boss, look how long. Yeah.
Hold on, go on now. Oh, is it? Oh, I'm on the record, right? Free Vibes Kartel. Today's the day, Free Vibes Kartel. I look up to them Monday, you know. You see him as a real teacher, you understand? So, Free Vibes Kartel. Repeat? Because them man they sing song will make sense, you understand? Him not come sing now one bag of madness, you understand? Sing song will make sense, you understand? So, look up to him for that, you know? At the G that. Yeah, respect, yeah? Yeah, my boss, real boss, Kartel for free. Yeah,
How
dance
can
all
I
for
interview them?
nice
I
again.
want to go give it.
Dance all for nice again. Yeah, Kartel for free. We the real boss. Yeah, man, I believe so. Yeah, make sure pray. Yeah, I have faith in a God. Yeah, man, pray for him last night. Yeah, make sure I have faith. And Kartel for have faith in a God. You say you pray for him last night. Why you saying that prayer? When Kartel a good artist, but him forget baptized and believe in a God. Yeah, man. And let go the dance team.
Yo, I have a laugh about Jamaica. I mean, like any country still, we have different sorts of people, yeah, sir. For different things and different purposes, cause. Hey, so just sharing what I got from off the street, I guess more stuff will be coming in soon. If you wish to say something, the number to call is on screen somewhere there. I think it is 876-773-0059. For the people who are just joining, the Court of Appeal has ruled that no retrial will be ordered in the matter involving Kartel and his co-accused. The men will be free to go home. As I said, I've pointed out that Kahira Jones will not be leaving whichever prison he is, as he is currently serving time, a lot of years, for another gun-related incident in which he was accused of shooting somebody. So in St. Catherine, I think in Waterford, some years ago. So he will remain in custody. So that's the situation. And thing, right? So that said, I sincerely hope that lessons were learned here, and all those involved will take this as an opportunity to, you know what I mean, contribute positively to their communities and societies and to their families. Hold on.
Say no, teach them.
Blessings, Carla. Carla.
Teach them, what going?
But Diana, brother, what you deal with?
Why, well, it's teacher free.
Yeah, man, that is what the court has ruled.
So that means that he's supposed to release by this evening then?
Well, I couldn't tell if it's this evening or right now or it's a morning, but he's able to go home sometime soon.
Alright, never add something to this, because he's a layman, regular civilian, regular simpleton, and from day one, you know, this was inevitable, you know.
You mean the full acquittal?
Well, not necessarily that part, but the mistrial that took place.
Mm-hmm.
Where evidence, alright, so two things happened. There's three things were happened. Main things happened where a lot of people not even mention it when it got privy council. Maybe. So the first one was the evidence where we got through. But then there was also with Livingston Kane, I believe that are the brother way.
The juror.
Right, the juror. So him do a next thing that was big, because me's a person where me go court all leave. Me not go too deep in that. But
yeah, man.
One of the things what the judge talked to you about in a court in the early days when they must select the jury pool is that you cannot discuss this matter, this case outside of the court, not even amongst the jurors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can check the Gleaner and the various articles that were posted during that time, where that said juror actually went to Vibes Kartel attorney to seek dialogue when the court did break, you know. Then, and when the court come back in a session for the other season, the attorney bring it to the attention of the judge, and the judge did nothing about it. And from there, so the trial should have stopped and start over from there, so.
Agreed.
I don't know if I cried or what.
I don't, well, based on, you know, what we have seen and heard, it was just the length at which the trial had gone already. The amount of resources that was pumped into the trial. I guess the judge in his wisdom felt that that was the right decision. To me, it was the wrong decision in hindsight, and we are where we are.
And that's the thing, you know, where they must say, okay, the trial reached 3/4 of the way. Let's not turn it back now.
I don't, man. I'm more than I done it. Did I done, man?
Right. So that's the thing, though. Even though, remember this, I know, people, we now look for your preference now. We're talking about law.
Yeah, man.
The law say, look here, just at the same thing, because the trial, the convictions overturn, you know. Because of the same mistake, because you feel like it reached too far and too expensive.
Right.
At the end of the day, the law is the law.
True.
And the Privy Council is just an independent body when I really care. Because they probably don't even know Kartel. They just look on you and say, yo, go on. This man had a mistrial or miscarriage of justice. And them say, yo, go on. So right now, yes, obviously it's too expensive to retry. And then based on the obviously the case and the high profile, kind of never really makes sense to retry. You know, because all of the evidence are out in the public domain, and then to go find independent juror whenever you hear about this, kind of really hard to find.
Yeah, you're not going to find a juror whenever when familiar with aspects of the case, to be honest.
Absolutely. So, hey, Kartel, I mean, indeed, I don't even know what my position there on it, because, I mean, indeed, about 15 years.
From 2011 to now, 13, 14 years.
Right.
All told.
Right. So now, a free man of him go out there, learn from the mistake, and whatever the situation is, just go there to be a better man.
That's what I said before you came on, so I hope that the men now will take this as an opportunity to fix things if things need to be fixed, and, you know what I mean, contribute meaningfully to them community and them family and surroundings and such, you understand?
Yeah, man, and it's not a time now to go brag and boast from the DPP or the government say, hey, me do this. And no, look here, brother. Cause look, the evidence, you know. Remember, you did have, what the brother was in a thing there now, him there in a custody, you know.
Witness protection.
Right, witness protection. There was a mountain of evidence. It's just that nobody in that case, I would not necessarily say, hey, man, because a mistrial don't mean say you're not guilty, it just means say
there were issues with the trial.
Yeah. So you know, no, it's not that time because you know Jamaica wants state, just like how them corruptly end your trial with all of that, and judge just say, hey, proceed, CMA, and go beyond the law. If you go and push up yourself, so you know, they might just flip the script for you. You don't even survive a day or two out there, so just go and hold it, give thanks for your freedom, and be a better man.
Solid advice.
That's it, man. So I'm afraid of the lines to make some more people call.
Say a word, broski, man. Give thanks, blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah, peeps. Interesting call. Very balanced. Seeing how many other innocent people. Nads. Blessings. Who the Andrew Zola? Who I mean, teach them how that Kartel must keep him out shit period. Better man, shit me them head. Freedom Street. With I suppose with any form of judgment, high profile nature, there will be people who welcome it. There will be people who are pissed of the outcome. I suppose that will be the situation here. It is what it is. The carry. Oh, so some people still not sure. Yeah, man. The men has been no retrial will be ordered, so the men are now free men, technically speaking. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Blessings, my brother. How are you? Give thanks.
I just want to do a little simple little talking, nothing about talking.
Okay.
We're talking about the system in Jamaica where majority of people can get in police record through some minor crime. Yeah. Some people can look at robbery, some thieves get a weed and can't get a police record, some 10, 15 years.
But a crime is a crime though, caller.
Yes, but remember say the government say after you do a time under 3 months and spend over 15 years, your record is supposed to be clean.
I can't speak to that, but I have no knowledge of that. I'm not disputing that you're correct. I'm just saying I can't say yes to that or no to that, to be honest with you. I know that the Governor General, I think, has the power to expunge one's criminal record. But I don't know that after a certain time has elapsed, your record is clean. So I can't speak to that.
Like, just like in England, they expunge the crime certain time.
Yeah, but Carla, so you are one. Me no want, to be fair with you, we kind of treat with a particular thing today. And I guess people want to talk about that. So, you see, tomorrow night on my stream, you can call me and we'll talk about this, yeah? No disrespect.
Respect.
Yeah, man.
Respect.
Blessings.
All right. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Again, for the people who are just tuning in, the Court of Appeal, Jamaica's Court of Appeal has ruled that there will be no retrial ordered in the case involving Vybz Kartel and the 3 other men, so the men are free to go. That is the whole gist of it. The written judgment is not yet available, but it will be in short order, they say. So we wait on that. It will be interesting to sit and read it, as I say. Zane, so observer here with it. Entertain and Vybz Kartel. We hear it for ourselves that they are free. But let me just read it. Entertain and Vybz Kartel and his co-accused were set free Wednesday after the Court of Appeal ruled against retrying them for the murder of Clive Z. Williams. So the judgment was handed down a short while ago. The decision was made by a 3-judge panel including Justices Marva McDonald, Bishop Paulette Williams and David Fraser. Before the ruling, an abbreviated summary was provided for the sole purpose of assisting members of the public with understanding the matter. The full judgment will be made available at Court of Appeal .gov.jm. And Vybz Kartel really Madija Palmer, Sean Campbell, OC Sean Storm, Kahira Jones, OC Cairo, and Andre St. John, OC Matsus were convicted of the September 2011 murder of Williams, and so on. So I don't know that. So long and short of the story, the men have now been freed unconditionally, no retrial, no nothing. But for informational purposes, Kahira Jones will have to remain incarcerated because he is serving time for another matter. Kevin Walters is saying the justice system has failed the victim's family. Friend like them, I was around me. But him not come out of the prison yet. Soon to all of you. Yeah, because I don't know that the court would rule 1 minute now and you're out the next second. I mean, I think I saw it work, but I suppose probably by the end of the day or by tomorrow, supposedly by the end of the day, it's in the afternoon now. So I see what is happening with that. Mention you teach them ready for the interview, you know. You have all the right questions. I won't have a lot of faith in I teach them, sir. I'm going to find out what I go on with my videographer and which part I treat him there I want to go on out because he need to present himself in the right places, you know. You understand? I can over those vlogs. Yo, my G teacher. Blessings, you know. My G. All is well, sir. Give thanks, man. Oh, Laverne Hyatt says it's after 7 years your records are. Oh, I'm really not familiar with that aspect of the law. Probably I need to do some research there. When I get to G, I'm probably in transit. That means many more inmates are go free up to what Parsley, what that mean? That how? This case was only about these 4 men who were involved in this particular case. This not nothing to do with another case. I mean, they may use this case, well, I guess they will use this case as case law in the future. But this now gonna mean nobody else free if they weren't charged, tried, convicted, acquitted. Thank you, Smith said, chum for president. All the best with that. You understand? Yeah, my teacher, you would have shocked if you know who. Well, I mean, not say a word, brother. Well, I guess we will have a good impression because the eel right, you know what I mean? So give thanks. You understand what I said? Richie said, laugh out, some man dark. I suppose a case of this nature would still require diligence in his release. TDC, I really am not sure. I think I understand what I said, but I'm not sure. I guess if he's free to go. I guess as whenever all of the paperworks are sorted, he will be free to go. So I don't know that the police will. I don't know. I could watch and see now. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, blessing, brother.
Blessings, my bro. What go on?
Yeah, man. I just give my 2 cents on the whole cartel free.
Run it, man.
And thing. I believe, if a man do the crime, he do the time. You know. With the whole procedure and some where the court system failed because them literally failed. The police them docked up evidence and something. The question is, how many other persons behind bars with the same with something where them docked up things and all this? Because this brings a lot of questions now, Right.
All right.
And
so before you go on, let me just interject. Zane, because I don't want to lose track. As it relates to the police doctoring up evidence, in this case, I can't speak to that, to be honest with you. What I can speak to as fact is that there was attempt to bribe the jury, and there was jury contamination. As a matter of fact, the Privy Council at no point in time treated with any evidence in the case. They were only concerned with that aspect of the case. So to say the police cook up, me can't say yet to that or anything because we don't have no proof to that. But go on. Somebody just do that for the benefit of people watching. You understand?
Yeah, man. I get what you're saying. So what I'm asking now is, all right, how many youths out there that is sitting behind bars that doesn't have the funds like Vibes Kartel and his co-accused to push the case over and over and make the case reach Privy Council and all of these things, right? So it goes to show now that the court system is flawed. You understand? And if the court system is flawed, how can us come together and fix this? because it's something need to be fixed.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is my take on what you just said, and some valid points in that. The court system needs a lot of fixing in regards to some things. Yeah, this is a teachable moment, a moment to learn. The court got it wrong. No two ways about it. But I don't think the court got it wrong based on evidence. The court got it wrong based on procedure. That is why we are where we are, right? And this is this is my job, I suppose, while I'm here, is trying to bring some form of balance to the discussions. Yeah. So there's no two ways that the court messed up. Justice Lennox got it wrong, 100%. You understand? And the question that you ask about how many more men in the penal system would have suffered similar fate, hopefully not many. Like, to be like, that is just it. I hope that they are not anybody else, or if they are, the number is very small that would have become a victim of wrong decisions and in some cases incompetence by judges and prosecutors and investigators for that matter. What needs to be done now is take it for what it is. In the pursuit of justice, there has to be some reform with the Jury Act, with the justice system and these things. Also, I think there are probably non-profit organizations that kind of look at different cases of people in the penal system and provide assistance, legal assistance to some of these people for various different reasons and criteria. So whilst they may not have the financial muscle of a Vybz Kartel, there are agencies and entities that try as best as possible to get, because there have been many cases involving men of less financial resources that have gone to the Privy Council. So there are ways, but it wouldn't be as easy as a Kartel type situation based on his financial strength. So me get what you say, man, and very valid points. All right. Very valid points. Very valid
one
points.
Last thing before I free up the line.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, Kartel is guilty of the murder, right? The evidence shows that, but because the court system mess up, that's the only reason why he got freed now. It's the same thing like O.J. Simpson. Mm-hmm. He got free, but everybody knows that he was guilty. But in my opinion, he's guilty, and the court system just failed. Yeah, I like Kartel music, but like I said, if you do the crime, you do the time. You know.
Appreciate the balanceness in the discussion, my brother.
Come on, blessings,
I respect that.
Kartel is one of the best artists ever come out in a Jamaica and change up the whole dancehall industry. But let me just look at it. If you look at the crime, persons are looking at because they like the music. You have to separate the music from the person, because if you look at the crime out here that's going on each and every day in Jamaica, right? It's not affecting the politician. It's affecting each and everybody that is living mostly in the inner city, right? What persons separate it once they don't know that person. They separate themselves from that person and say, yeah, lock him up and get 50 years. But it's Kartel, we know him and we like his songs. No, man, we free the artist. I don't believe in that. Right, so if it was my brother that do the crime, he should do the time too.
If you watch a channel on a regular, you'd have heard me say before that, Jamaicans, we have this tendency where we say, oh, we want this. But how many of us are... but not even that. Say, okay, we want a better Jamaica. We want justice. But when it's time for we do things to get justice and a better Jamaica, we disappear, we're gone quiet. So we like things, but we like things conditionally. We like things when they are beneficial to our viewpoints and our agenda. But we don't really want justice enough. We want justice when it is convenient to us. I have said that many times on this channel, many times. But you know what I think, I appreciate the call here. Very refreshing to hear somebody who, is able to treat with both sides of the divide and talk in mind. I like that.
Yeah, man, you have to just listen. It's one life. You have to look for it with that balance. You can't just run with what everybody is going with. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Blessings, bro. Brother. Give thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Have a good day.
Yeah, man. Same to you. Afternoon, caller. Hello. Oh. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Chief. Hold on.
But there, bro. Are you good?
Yeah, man. So I hear what the previous caller was saying, right? And you see, you have to understand something. We can't all be judges, jurors, and executioners in the public.
Right.
And the thing about it is that what we get in the public is what was basically privy to us. So it would be very unwise for us to say Cartel innocent or him guilty. We have to look on the evidence that was provided.
Right.
Right? And whether the man innocent or guilty, the fact is he deserves, and every Jamaican deserves
a fair
trial. And the issue that has been brought throughout all of the courts is whether or not he received a fair trial. It wasn't whether or not him guilty or innocent, it's whether or not him get a fair trial. Because I know somebody personally who went to years of 15 years for a rape that he never committed. He literally was trying to stop it from happening, and because a bad man and tell the girl say, yo, make sure you say no we. And this man get convicted for 15 years. I spent 15 years in a prison for a murder, for a crime he never committed. And these are the issues with the justice system, right? Because you have innocent person who go to prison for a murder, for a charge they didn't commit, and you have guilty persons who set free for something. But the fact of the matter is whether or not the trial was fair. And I mean, even one of the cases, the judge basically said, why this case is so important out of all the other cases. There's like a case where the businessman killed his wife. There's like another case where the murder of a 15-year-old, right? So they're saying, why is this case so much more important than these other cases? Isn't all like the same? And then it comes down to a point where it's been, it kind of look as if it is more of, it's because of the person that they're convicting as to why they're pursuing it. Is it that they're trying to set an example? You understand? So
go ahead.
So I think personally, I'm not a fan of our Vibes Cartel. I am a fan of justice. And in my opinion, I believe justice was served primarily because there was no evidence of him getting a fair trial at no point in time. And when it went to the Privy Council, basically, I mean, I was watching the live stream, and the Privy Council, the expression, I don't know if you watched it, but if you look at the expression and if you look at the expression of these persons, they're like, why is this coming to us? As if, why this has to go so far? You don't realize that there's a big issue right there. Why? It's all about the why. And it shows you that the Jamaica justice system we have, it's favoritism. Because,
but hold on, Carl. I'm going to stop you there, because to be fair to the Court of Appeal, they have said many cases have gone to the Privy Council that the ruling that was handed down by the Court of Appeal was upheld by the Privy Council.
Which is true.
Right. So we have to also in our discussions it's not like this are the first case we got the Privy Council where it come back different from where them did Senate. You understand? So
which is true, but the expression of the Privy Council was, why did it have to reach this far? It's as if that's what they're saying. Why it had to reach this far? Because if there is because remember, I do finance, right? And the court, we deal with a thing called materiality.
Right.
And the justice system also deals with materiality as well.
Hold on, Carla. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Yes, Carla. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I'm saying is that what they look on is materiality, and you see, materiality is relative, yes, but in a justice system, when you talk about materiality, we're talking about the distractions or the errors. Is it enough to basically say it has impacted the case? And the reality is, if a juror tries to bribe other jurors, if I was a juror and I hear a juror try to bribe somebody and say the man innocent, then may I say to myself, but why am I trying to do that if the man innocent? You understand?
Yeah.
And then never say, boy, regardless of what, never say, boy, because he might try to do that,
the man guilty.
Probably him friend, him guilty. And that is what the Privy Council was saying, that this type of evidence, because remember that there was 3 jury incidents.
Right.
The other 2 wasn't material enough, which is fine. But this 3rd one was material enough. And that is the whole thing. And I mean, I am not neither happy or sad that he's free. I'm just happy that the courts, has what you call it now, they were being, these persons got a fairness, and the fairness is, based on the time lapse, based on the evidence, they couldn't find none of these persons. They can't find out these things, so it doesn't make sense.
Some of these things, bro, it's almost all of them too. So again,
some of them,
these things
general,
are important.
Right.
You understand? So when we are share the info, we have to be correct. And you're fine. You're right, but. For the purpose of people hearing things, we have to ensure so we share the right thing on it. So some of the evidence and some of the witnesses were not able to locate them, and that's fine.
Right, because and based on what the reading said was that basically they even didn't get a answer from these witnesses themselves. They didn't get a personal answer to say, yes, I will come back. Everything was more on the assumption that they would come back. And those are one of the things that the court says, well, you don't have a strong argument to say, yes, a retrial should be given.
Right.
And, so these are a lot of the things. But I think the general thing is that I believe this case showed how imperfect our justice system is. And it shows that, there's a lot of things in the system that needs to be corrected, because you can have a guilty man go free and you can have an innocent man go into prison, primarily because of technicalities in the courts.
But, the whole issue of jury tampering has to be looked at. There has to be some form of amendment to the Jury Act as to what constitutes a full jury, or whether or not the trial judge can dismiss the jury and turn the trial into a bench trial. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned. I suspect that the justice system is looking. I mean, they will feel black-eyed for a while, but it's a moment in time to lick your wounds and do the right thing for the benefit of justice. You understand? You said something that is very critical. You say you're not happy, you're not sad, you are just okay with the fact that in your view justice has been served.
Right. And when I say justice has been served,
I understand what you mean. No, man, I understand what you mean.
As I say, you have some people out there where I'm gonna say, boy, X or Y. When I say justice has been served, I mean that based on the inaccuracies and based on the errors that happen in the court.
So your right to a free trial, to a fair trial is critical.
Right, right. And you have a thing called your constitutional right. And there are 2 main constitutional rights every Jamaican has. The right to life and the right to a fair trial. Those are your constitutional rights.
Yeah, man. There are quite a few of them, man, but those are important.
No, man. I said those are the two ones that I'm looking at.
Right.
And the fact that, the right to a fair trial. I mean, and it just shows you again how sloppy the police force, the handling of evidence in Jamaica. It just shows you how sloppy they are.
Yeah, but Carla, let's talk about evidence again. At no point in time did the Privy Council treat with the evidence in the trial to any significant degree. Because
Right,
in their
no.
views, the material issue is the
Was
issue
the
that
juror.
took greatest interest in was the
juror,
the tainted jury. Yeah.
Right.
And I said
so.
that to say this. We still cannot determine, because we keep here said there was no evidence and evidence contamination. The truth is, it would have been nice if the Privy Council had spoken to those things, so we had some clarity from a different source other than the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals in Jamaica. They did not.
I have some clarity. No, I have some clarity on it. And I mean, at the time, I was listening very keenly because I did a few law courses and stuff. So at the time, I was listening very keenly. And I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember keenly what one of the judges said. Right? The judge said, there are other issues, yes. However, the one that basically never needed to go into the others. He said that a tainted jury is enough. And that's why they said that the memorandum, because the defendant, I think they submitted about 3 arguments, or they submitted 5 in general, I believe 2 were shown out, and there were 3, I believe, yeah. And they said that when the first one was a juror, and they said, look, in layman terms, they said basically, look, this first one is enough. We don't have to go through the other 2, because this first one is enough to basically
I'll
say
put it
this
to
is
you,
a
though.
breach.
I put it to you. I suspect if they felt there was a need to treat with the evidentiary material, they also would have.
Exactly. I believe they would have too. But the fact of the matter is, from a jury's convincing
man, I get that. But what I'm saying, but you know, I'm saying even though it was easily identifiable that the tainted juror was the biggest issue as to acquittal or retrial, I feel, and again, this is my opinion, if the law lords in the Privy Council felt that there was much issue with the evidence, they would have treated with it. That is just my view.
Based on how the court system go, that's your view, yes, but based on how the court system go, is that it's more of a process of with the Privy Council. Remember, the Privy Council are people that they don't really want to waste anybody's time. They don't want to take too much time. So they would look at it and say, okay, the first one, if the juror wasn't enough evidence, they would have said,
that is speculation, though, bro. You and I are speculating. Both of us are speculating, to be honest.
Well, it's more speculation, yes. But you see, the other thing is that,
Scotty, me soon talk to you.
How the Privy Council set up is basically, they would consider the what you call it, the absolute, and the one that is very blatant.
Perhaps, and we can't deny it. We can't disagree with that.
Right. And the one that is very blatant was, because I remember keenly what they said. They said,
all right, let me tell you what me I say in short. Hold on, Carl. Let me tell you what me I say in short. The evidence in the case is okay. That is what me I say in short.
But then, I mean, if you look on the Jamaica, I mean, there were a lot of questionable situations about the evidence.
Man. Example, no. Hold on. You see, you start the conversation one way and move away. Listen, this is how you started the conversation. Hold on, man. You said what we don't know what happened in court per se if we're not in there. Most times what we get is what is made available. Have you read the transcript of the trial?
I have. It's a very long transcript.
Have you read it?
I've read some of it.
Oh, you read some of it? Okay.
Yeah, I've read some of it.
All right. And me speaking now, having read the transcript, in my opinion, there was nothing wrong with the evidence in the case. What happened with the case is where the judge decided to proceed without really and truly applying the letter of the law and starting the trial from scratch. That is fundamentally where the case broke down. For me, having read the transcript, I thought the transcript from trial and the transcript from appeal, both of them, page by page, if you ask me, the Privy Council never did need to look at the evidence.
Okay.
That is just my assessment.
Fair enough. But as I said, and I did say to you, whether or not he did it or he didn't do it,
right.
The fact is, everybody deserves a fair trial.
Yeah, man, and I agree with you totally.
And if you end up provide an environment to make it impossible for a fair trial, that's egg in your face.
Yeah, but who provided that environment though?
Well, we don't know.
Okay, all right. So we'll take a few more calls. You know what thing go? They are free up the line. So you know what thing go. Look, whichever way before you go call, or whichever way, this is a moment in time where the justice system need to do some self-reflection, some self-evaluation, and treat with amending the rules and laws that will serve a better dispensation of justice for time to come.
And I agree.
That is it. So we're going to jump now.
Yeah, man.
Big up yourself. Right. Yeah, man.
Yep.
Afternoon, caller. Hello, good afternoon. Scotty, sis, we can't tell. I don't know if them are go home this evening or them are go home morning or them are go home. I know that they are free men. As to what procedure they will have to go through now before they are released from custody is, I can't say, to be honest with you. If there's somebody in here with experience or knowledge of how the penal system works, no man, I know they are free today, as in when are they actually leaving the penal institution that they are being held? They will walk out of the courtroom today. I don't think they were in court, not sure they were in court today, so there's that. Paperwork and other formalities have to go on first. Big up yourself, Father Raja, give thanks. 5 p.m. today, them say, where you see that? Tell me where you see that. Tell me why the first place you see that. I will laugh. I said we can't find it. Tell me what the first man you see with that. I'm take that call. Good afternoon, caller. How are you?
Shem.
Blessings, my friend. How are you?
Teach them.
Yeah, man. Me I hear you loud and clear, man. You not hear me?
Teach them. Me I hear you now, brother. You know me I call from London, you know.
Oh, big up yourself, man. A night now. Well, go on.
Big up. Boy, teach them. You know me I watch I'm appalled at what's happening, you know.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that it's all cost and financial constraints. Why justice hasn't been seen to be served, you know.
As in a retrial being ordered?
Well, a retrial being ordered, or whether they're guilty or they're not guilty, I just get the feeling, first of all, from the first judge with that jury tampering, the case is almost finished. The judge just decided, all right, we should just go ahead with a tampered jury. That's that because the case was almost finished.
Right.
Yeah. So it's all about time and money at that particular time.
True.
And come back down today. I'm listening to all these arguments,
time and money again.
Arguments, and it's time and money again.
I mean, Justice McDonald also said that some of the exhibits from the initial trial are unaccounted for. Some of the witnesses, both prosecution and defense witnesses, are unaccounted for. So I guess those things were mentioned as well. But cost and time were also very front and center in the discussion.
It is a catalyst. It is a catalyst. And I'm thinking, whether they're guilty or they innocent, justice has to be served, because what precedents are you setting? For the layman, he's looking at it and he's thinking, well, I could do 60 days or 70 days in a trial, and because it's costing the government this money, and it's costing so much time, I might very well be acquitted.
If you tamper with the jury.
No, I'm saying
just being acquitted because I don't think they will acquit you like that because all right, and let's Justice Lennox Campbell messed up, no royally, no 2 years, yeah. But I suppose in that time, at that time in whenever the trial was coming to an end, 2012, I suppose, 2013, 24, whenever, after presiding over the longest trial in the history of the country, that has used up so much resources. You tired, me tired, everybody tired. There has been jury issues and juror issues, and one lady was sent home from the jury because she got at the prison and them realized our son one heap or something. So that was one of the case. The situation is that if the judge had removed Livingston Kane from the jury, the trial would have collapsed and they would have stopped. So he, in his wisdom, which turned out to not be very wise, felt that the best course of action at this time was to proceed with the trial and retreat with whatever after. It was a disaster. You understand?
Of course.
But it was in his wisdom at that time, he felt that that was the best course of action. He took it, and I suppose we are where we are because of that.
Teach them. It doesn't. Why would we need to send a case all the way to the Privy Council for the Privy Council to be looking at our judicial system and thinking, well, how did this case get to here? Because of that fundamental issue with the jury. And besides, it's a case that is unprecedented in Jamaican history.
Right.
So you have to dot all the T's, dot all the I's, and cross all the T's.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Whether you're tired or you're tired not, take time out.
True.
Take time out because justice has to be served.
Right. So tell you what, though, Carla.
Justice have to be served.
Tell you what. You see, sometimes we have to learn some lessons so hard with it. Some very expensive lessons as well. I hope coming out of this, the justice system, everybody who has the potential, the power, the authority to address the issues that needs to be addressed going forward, I sincerely hope that that is done. This is has been a very expensive lesson, a very time-consuming lesson, and I hope that coming out of this, even though them get thumping at them eye, them can look through the next eye and fix what we get fixed. You understand? But you don't have no sympathy at all for Justice Lennox Campbell?
You're breaking up.
No, me? Yeah? Oh yeah, I said. You not hear me?
But the judges, I think, no, you went quite far. Okay. Judges in law cannot be wrong, you know. That is why we got appeals.
Appeal, right, you know right.
As you said, yeah, because in law they cannot be wrong. But
let me tell you what kept Justice Lennox still. Justice Lennox never make a decision in law. He made a decision based on his own opinion and assessment at the time. Because if he had made a decision in law, the only decision that he could have made at that time based on the Constitution was to scrap the trial and start anew. Because there is no law for a substitute. In some jurisdiction, you have a substitute juror. Where if something wrong with one juror, you get rid of them. It can be sickness, it can be whatever. You replace them, right? That is not a part of our Constitution. In some jurisdiction as well, in the middle, the end, or the beginning of the trial, the jury can be disbanded and the judge take over the trial. That is not a part of our Constitution. So here now is a point in time where the judiciary has an opportunity to fix some things. I really hope for the benefit of our Jamaican and the dispensation of justice in the future, this will be treated with.
Teach them. They've been doing this thing. Look at the Klansman trial. You got one judge sitting with how many
right. So that was a bench trial. Zine? In that case, remember that trial started during COVID time. Zine? Impaneling a jury for that trial would be no, but it is in the Constitution. It is in the Constitution that you can have a jury trial or a bench trial.
No, I know that.
Right. So what is so wrong with having a bench trial in that case?
Because of the magnitude of the trial itself, right, and what it holds for law and order.
So this is what you do. This is what you do. Have 3 judges administer over the trial.
Yes.
Because I'll put this to you. So you have you empanel 12 jurors for that case then. Remember the nature of the case, you know. How likely is it that none of those jurors will be exposed to intimidation, threats, or otherwise? Wouldn't it be easier in that situation?
Everybody.
Yeah, in a situation like that, wouldn't it be better for you to reduce the possible likelihood of exposure and contamination to the trial? Me just ask.
Yes.
Because
No,
you
yes,
said,
yes, fair enough.
What me I get from you is that you are opposed to just having Justice Sykes presiding over the trial. What I would have recommended and my suggestion is that you have 3 senior judges to kind of, spread out the load of the trial instead of a single judge.
This is where I'm going.
Based on the nature.
This is where I'm going. Because in council, you get a fair understanding. But one judge sitting day by day, listening arguments, counter arguments, that is too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot
for the magnitude of the trial.
So again, Carla, there was no trial like the Kartel trial in terms of the magnitude before. There was none for the Klansman in terms of magnitude. I mean, there was a Hugh Wilson trial, but these things sometimes are learning exercises too, so you look at them in retrospect and say, all right, we had approached that wrong, we need to fix it in the future. In reality, there's nothing wrong with that either,
Listen, the law is constantly evolving. I cannot appreciate that we learn from mistakes and we move on.
Right.
Yeah. But a big but is that Jamaica tend to do the same things over and over and over. Like
which is true.
They something happened and no one put safeguards in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
for it not to
it's time we get this. Well, Tristiana Vassal, the men have been freed. As it relates to him walking out of prison, I don't know that has happened yet, but he is freed. But Carla, you see, as we say, we can't talk whole day upon these things, Zane. The long and short of it, just like you, I hope that the lessons that have been learned very well, and remedies will be put in place to treat with these things going forward.
Teach them.
Because the justice system failed. You understand?
It is embarrassing.
I mean, out of embarrassment can come good sometimes.
Looking at us and thinking, it is embarrassing. And people talk about Caribbean Court of Appeal.
That's a next story for your next time, bro. We don't even touch that with a long stick right now. I'm going to jump and take a few more cars. You know what things go.
All right.
Blessings.
I will talk to you soon.
That's a word, man.
Talk to you soon. My respect. And respect for your channel, brother. I learned so much, especially.
That's a word, man. Give thanks.
Keep it up, brother.
Bless. Big up to the ones that will get the reference we did make earlier still. We fly over enough people head. When me I say where I first man see with that. Enough people don't really get the references still, but that's alright. Kartel now a free man. So this is another article. So I go on in there. It says Dancehall Star Vibes Kartel. Good afternoon, Carla. Hello, good afternoon.
Big up yourself, teach them.
Blessings, bro.
Go on.
Me there, I know. I go and watch all the thing, When something go.
Well, me there, I listen to discussion and I find it fascinating. Say, man, them, I feel like say Jamaica is a 400 or a 500 and a 1,000-year-old democracy like England and America. Jamaica is still 62 years old, so I gotta make some mistake. The problem we have with the process that take place is that we think we are properly document what take place and what we need to fix going forward.
You think so?
Have to fix. Yeah, man, because here no. What got change tomorrow if one next murder like this take place in Jamaica?
What do you mean? The judge can decide, say, he's going to proceed with the trial where
who gonna stop him?
Who gonna stop him? No, man.
Stop the judge?
Go on, talk. I search one article. I want to read something for you.
Yeah, go ahead. What you guys, it's about learning, It's about learning. Come here, tell you.
Jury Act. See if I can find something. Because I know that the Minister of Justice had publicly stated that they are currently looking to amend the Jury Act coming out of the court, the Privy Council situation.
Me glad what you're saying. Looking to.
Yeah, man. But it can't happen overnight, Carla.
Not gonna happen overnight, brother. But come on, man.
These things takes time, man. All right. So watch out. See, jury duty concerns need to be addressed. So that I want something. So Adija, it is related to that. Zane? So there are things that there are also the Chief Justice has been for a while campaigning for more bench trials than jury trials.
Me know about that. I'm going to tell you why me know about that.
Talk to me.
You see, the judges are themselves human beings. They're not infallible, and some of them are privy to corruption. Some of them can be bad. And don't pretend like none of these judges up at Kingston don't know none of these criminals. They sleep with the same woman and they parade in the same parties. Believe me, brother. So we're not going to further than that.
Jury act. Yeah.
So two things we don't want.
Yeah, man, but don't have just one judge sitting on the panel.
Right. Let me tell you one thing though. We have to address the whole witness protection.
Right, that's the next thing, because there are so many stories where men have complained about how they are treated and these things. There was an article in the paper since week about one man saying sorry, say him going at the program. So I have received call from people in various places. Like me receive call. Me have some story to tell you in the future. I've got some type of call from some type of places. You see? If I was one of the person who quick to turn everything in our video, I tell you, sir. You understand?
Brother, we live in Jamaica, we know what is Jamaica. You see me? So we know where you are.
Brother, like something I say, it rough out there, but you are going still. And I'm like how you start in one extent. 62 years is a lot of time still.
Yeah, but
you are 62?
No, something
right.
30.
Yeah. And think about how many memories you have accumulated in those 30 years and how many things you have done and could have done. See? So while 62 years is relatively short for a democracy, it is really and truly still a lot of time to have gotten some things done.
Yeah, and here's one of the problems now I have with Jamaica as a democracy. And it's a cultural thing, it's a mindset thing, is that we don't practice succession planning. Because I hear the Prime Minister saying that they're looking to extend Paula Llewellyn's stay as
DPP. Yeah.
Brother, that's the dash where I want boss Virgin, because guess what? You tell me, say, as her job as a DPP, she not train nobody to take over from her.
No, man, you have only for deputies. You have only for deputies, man.
So
you understand?
Why just step down and make one of the deputies step up to the plate?
No, but if you work somewhere, you think you have more for offer, and there's a potential for you offer more. Why not?
No.
I'll put it to you still, because probably you don't know. I am a fan of Paula Llewellyn. I've said that publicly many times. I have never hidden that.
Let me say this. I am no fan of no public servant. You're a public servant and you reach your age of retirement.
Yeah.
Did farewell.
No.
Enough in your little time.
Watch out. I like strong women. Something about them. I like it.
Brother,
she's a very strong woman.
I like Portia Simpson. I like Hillary Clinton.
Portia never a public servant, man.
Yeah, but
so you tell me you ain't like none.
When you reach your time don't cut. Give somebody else a chance, get you.
Yeah, we understand what you are saying, man. We understand.
Yes, man.
In truth and in fairness, there was probably no need to have had a situation at the office of the DPP where it reached. You understand? But Paul as an individual, me like her. Some people offended by that. Yeah, me know, man. Me know, Carla, me I talk to you, man. Me know these things, you know. We keep abreast. You understand what I'm saying? No.
Can't do that, man.
Simad said me like masculine woman. I said I like powerful women, sir. But I said what a masculine woman. And I didn't say I like Paula in an affectionate way. It's just that look.
Yeah, because you stand.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that is it. That is it.
You can pass on your principles to other people and make them understand why you did what you did, man. You can.
I agree with that, man. I agree with you. Yeah, man. Truth. As I said, truth be told, probably there shouldn't have been a situation now where we got to that stage. To be honest with you. But me now issue with Paula. But tell you that straight up.
Yeah, and my last point now, is that we need to hurry up with this Republic thing, and we need to full steam ahead.
But the opposition say them nah sign off on the Republic thing if certain things are started. One of them say we need to remove the Privy Council as the final court and move to the CCJ as our final appellant court.
Privy Council must go because here we know.
Yeah.
These people living afar off who don't really have any cultural ties 60 odd years, I just say, is a long time, for people drift apart. And if you look at what is happening now with Richie Sunak and Liz Strauss and all of them no know for them from
both.
them foot. You understand? So how them can make decisions for we with them not live?
Yeah, but they are not. Well, the Privy Council and the government is not the same thing still. But me, I hear what you say.
I see people them man that understand that England then they have
Here the issue with the Privy Council. Getting to the Privy Council is very arduous in terms of the resources that it takes for this to be your final court. The resources that it takes for, as one of the caller mentioned earlier, is astronomical. If you have heard about the amount of money where the government will have to pay Kartel's legal team, $30 million?
Something like that.
All right. Plus pay the people who represented Jamaica as well at about $37 million by itself. See?
Right.
It's a lot of money. See? No. How many Jamaicans will be able to find the resources to go to a court that requires so much of you financially?
Look at it this way. Look at it this way. Most people in Jamaica will tell us that they can't buy one house over NHT for $150,000 US, which is 100,000 US, which is 15 million Jamaican. And now you go multiply that by 10. So you can buy 10 NHT houses just to a cartel.
And the next thing to do, Carla, so that leaves us now with two courts, really. That leaves us with the Court of Appeal and the Caribbean Court of Justice. Is our judiciary mature enough for people to feel comfortable with the Court of Appeal be the final straw in the hat?
Let me put it this way. If our judges cannot be just, then let's just do away with it then. Let's just go back to being a slave state of England.
That now go work out.
Take up the responsibility of being a man and say, all right, we're going to look into ourselves and make right decision, a righteous decision based on the evidence presented.
Yes.
Simply, a simple thing, we have to take accountability for our own action. If we want a just nation, we have to build a just nation. We can't depend on nobody. We can't give it.
Right. I mean, we can take good examples and mirror them and use experience from others to formulate our thing, but a lot of things need to be answered. I suspect that most people will point to the Caribbean Court of Justice, but I don't know that is a straightforward thing either for various reasons. So I'm not get into right now, but
as we say, I want to hear some other people's opinions.
No say a word, man. Big up yourself, man. Big up yourself. Yeah. Afternoon, caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah, man. Blessings, my brother.
Yeah, man. Teach them this?
Yeah, man. Speaking.
Yeah, man. So we are discussing the cartel case.
Right.
Yeah, man. We should say cartel about us for a long while still.
Yeah.
But no BJ afraid right now because cartel free.
You feel so?
Yeah, man. I know so.
You feel cartel about what it takes to run dancehall as dancehall is now?
Well, maybe I'm not come and run it, but I still have a big space.
Yeah. So why you say them free?
Them not going to eat as much food again.
You think so?
No, sir. May I tell you? Pending cartel have a good health to teach them.
Yeah.
Them can't stop cartel, man. I don't worry about that,
The music change still,
Music change, gonna chop out what them want call it, but the trap it only have a certain amount of market. It only have a certain amount of market, a certain amount of type of youth.
Yeah, it sounds like you didn't have fun or near a seed though.
True, yeah, I didn't have fun.
Oh,
but the ultimate thing, teach them is the baseline. A lot of people don't like them baseline that we are going on. Even a big man like myself, we don't really like them little chip baseline. We like authentic big baseline. That's what Jamaican reggae music deal with. That's why we love the killer.
I agree with you on that.
Big baseline. Them little small baseline business and now work out teach them.
Well,
it sounds like some little disco business like.
Time,
you know what I mean?
Which is true. There's no, my thing is that there's no soul in the music. I mean, I thought the lyrics, I thought the music itself. But that's a next story for next time. This is my thing though.
Yeah.
It is, time will tell us to how effective he still can be running with the youngsters now. And thing, I guess him is who him is in terms of music. He has made his name. and thing, but me not know that him really
you know,
and truly I go make enough man food stop eat food. Me not know about that part.
Teacher, I want to make a point. You know, so when Kartel get incarcerated, a lot of people have said him leave. He make a Whopper DJ emerge. A Whopper DJ who never eat that amount of food.
Yeah, man. But then only heap of DJs were emerging while Kartel was there.
Yeah, what them a butter? Then a butter. I say then a butter. No for them a butter. All them conscience and them in the butter. No for them I acting and no for them the butter, man. I tell you, when Kartel get incarcerated, a lot of them find them way out, find them niche and find a little space in the business.
But I'll say it exactly. That's why I not think enough man I got struggle to eat food. But I'll say this to you though, because they say when he was incarcerated, for the first 3, 4, 5 years after Kartel incarceration, Kartel's lyric was prolific in the streets, same way, my friend.
Oh yeah man. So true.
I mean, so his physical presence wasn't here, but the music was here, and a lot of people have risen, and some has become giant in this in that time. There's Massacre, for example.
The man now that humorous thing in the music like what Kartel was stuff, you know. Kartel are bringing out some humor in the music. Where none of them DJ not. When I see them do, them try what them have it like Kartel. Kartel lyrics them serious, but the humor when put them in them lyrics them, it make you get a little smile. They know that DJ like them serious, like them want war.
So Kartel now one of the great war DJs of all times too, man.
Yeah man, him good in that, but me prefer him in a girl tune and still. But him good in that too.
Alright, so
you know what I'm saying? But me prefer him girl tune and certain other tune. A lot of people don't look from the Kartel reality tune them either, you know. But Kartel reality tune them have some good tune them, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going still. I guess we can have a discussion about that aspect of the thing in the future. But we are just going and focus on the decision today at the justice system. You know where the maths go.
Well, we like where we're going still, you know? We like where we're going. And we appreciate that still, you know? And respect these men. The first time I really get this.
No, say a word, man. We appreciate the support, my brother. Big up yourself,
man. I respect what you have been doing over the years to all them things, man. You have been doing a good job, man. And really congratulate and the moves you make and all them things. All them entertaining the way interview and all them things.
We try, brother, man. We try, man. And as me say, so like, as a man, we tune into the thing for a all the time.
I tune in when I can, you know. I tune in because I work with a big man to still, but at the same time, I like where you're going with.
Give thanks,
educate
man.
the people, them. Yeah, do a lot of things. Even though you're a teacher a long time, you still do the job as a teacher to educate the youth, them. Educate a lot of Jamaicans and educate the world at large.
We have to teach them. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
here we go on.
I think it's a good step.
Yeah, man. And as I said that, you know, normally we not take enough time sometimes to say these things. We appreciate the ones them because I want to make the thing work. You understand? No matter what we do, if we not find value in it, it don't make no sense. So we appreciate the continued support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
We're going to jump in and take a few more calls.
All right. Respect.
Blessings. Yo, on the miserably in the comment section though. Then if somebody call and say they want to talk about sitting and look a bit different. No, relax, man. Alright, we take that caller. Afternoon caller. Blessings, bro. Yeah, listen to the stream in our background. You have to mute it or turn it right down. See it? Me there, man. You see the stream when you listen to, you have to mute it.
No, make me pause it.
No, say a word, man. Big up yourself. What I pray.
Oh, go on. I must remember my voice. I wait. I just not too long.
Why, brother? I saw many voices sometimes. I have to go and talk a little more.
Yo. But me tell her from me get go to Kartel, I got free. You see me?
Yeah,
remember me that talk about the American justice system work.
Okay, yeah. I think remember I call her, you know.
And people are call and them a blame Jamaica and them a say, oh, Jamaica need. Yeah, Jamaica need to fix. But them cases happen in America every day. You see me? Me know youth who walk the street where boss gun case cause of technicality and them thing there.
Happen everywhere, man.
This happen everywhere, bro.
True.
You see me? So people, you can't blame the system. Yes, Jamaica system need to fix.
The system we get some blame to, man, because the judge made a big mistake. You understand? We can't go around that.
But like me say, you see we are going in a young thug case.
Yeah, man.
All right. You see them recuse the judge from the case. You see them stop the. You see them. So just them little thing they have to fix. People can't blame the system all them want, but it's everywhere in America. And from the before Kartel even found guilty, they said any him found guilty, when him reach appeal at England, them go through out the case. Because just the way of the case that go on, brethren. Too much foolishness, brethren. The case never have no harder. No harder never in a court. You see me? No harder never in a court, bro. You see?
Never in a court. Yeah.
Yeah, the case is all over the place. So there is so much thing when could have appeal upon. The few things that them appeal upon, they have a lot more them could have appeal upon. You see what I'm saying?
Them appeal upon the strongest grounds, them man.
It's just patience. All what there when people tell Kartel to shut up and make the justice system, nah, go let him go because of this. Listen, it's so the system work. You just have to be patient and do what you make your lawyer work. If you have a good lawyer, and just make a system work. Sometimes you have to sit down for a while for it work. But once it all work, there's nobody can stop it from work. You see me? I saw a system work. So me know, brother. Me not surprised. You see me?
Me see you, man.
But go on. Yeah. But go on, bless yourself.
That's your word, bro, Skipper. You know we're there.
Just wake up and from wake up and you may find from me see me, you know?
Give thanks, man. We're there, man. You know what I mean? We soon cut the stream
bless
shots because I have a couple of video figure do because I have some reaction things, you understand? But I save them there.
Right.
You see, big up yourself in a broski. We're there.
Man, bless up, man.
Man
Yeah,
thing,
like
man
that.
thing, man
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, new wave. But big up yourself, bro. Long time I not see you now. New wave say be that grow long. Me just go and live. You understand? It's not even so me and grow the beard. We just go and live here, sir. You understand? So right, I know, you see me. Yeah. But big up yourself, man. It's good to see. It's always good to see the people that were there around there from day one. You know what I think go. I know some more time work and family and other things kind of having no busy and them something there. But we give thanks forever. Check my message. Apparently they will be releasing them shortly. I'm watching a live by the jail. Okay, alright. Car. The brother and Sue in there again. Miss Rebellious, big up yourself. Teach them Sasko. Manners. What on the piece? I'm gonna try a look.
Yeah, I've never done it.
Yeah, the people that must say, you didn't hear me. You couldn't hear me because I turn off my mic. I didn't talk to my videographer, you understand? And things. So, yeah. Yeah, peeps, me know so I couldn't hear me. See it there now? I'm go so I talk to you now. So, but yeah, that'll go on. So, yeah, peeps, for the people who are still, because I see people still forward and ask, I said, yes, the men have been freed. No retrial was ordered by the Court of Appeal, and apparently they will be, well, who can leave will be leaving today, later today or tomorrow. Well, later today I suspect. And out of the 4, only 3 can leave jail. And those 3 are Vibes Kartel, Sean Storm, and Andre St. John. Because Kahira Jones is serving another sentence for another gun-related incident. I don't think there are any stipulations, Judah. They were freed unconditionally based on what I heard from the lady at the Court of Appeal, so I don't think there are any conditions. Ninja Man can release too. It's so be the case. Well, the Gaga don't have to appeal the sentence and these things though. I just say a word. 13 years. 2 body. Crazy. When I get a part there. So yeah. If we not get no more calls still, I have some work to do. Zane. Big up to the people them. Zane. I'm not so bad to them. Normally anytime Kartel thing go on, them behave bad in the comment section. You understand? Uno behave today. You see me? I guess this is a more mature set of the Kartel fan base that is here. Or probably them the other places, but you know what thing, I give thanks. Me like good behavior. You understand? And thing, just a note to say, enjoying your show. I am a Canadian lawyer who was assisting. Okay. Oh, big up yourself, my friend. I'll reply to this message later. Zane, manners. Today wasn't expected. Squeaky Queen, blessings, my Mrs. Squeaky Clean and defend me upon a local level. Big up yourself. Don't can't trouble me and Squeaky Clean there. Queen there, you understand? I'm not sure who she is, probably somebody who I know in real life, but I realize that she been a defend me about it. And I can't grow the order. Large up ISAT. Yes, ISAT, I guess. ISAT will be insufferable in the coming days. You understand? Can't tell him say one of the greatest thing, you know. You see me, I say, Professor, gorgeous lady, how are you? Blessings. You understand? DJ Junior, manners and respect. Marlene Myers. So yeah, I don't think see go on. Yeah, peace. Big up on yourself. We're gonna cut it and run it. We're gonna do some other work, video work and stuff. I have some things to post on them, something there. Was he freed, brethren? How are you, Florida? Right now, Sir P, I make a review. Welcome back. This is Politics Watch. Yeah, man, Sir P definitely gonna do some work on this. You know, it was Sir P and Kartel really say eye to eye. One love from one teacher to another. Blessings, Queen, Squeaky Queen. I almost a Squeaky Clean every time. Fine, I'm waiting CXC results. Well, good luck. I hope that your students did very well. Long time I don't try this. Big of yourself. I'm not part of Kartel's fan base, but the verdict is important. Yeah, well said. So the foolishness is put away for a while. Love from St. Thomas. Big up yourself in a 539. Peeps, manners and respect. I know a whole lot of people there, but we're going to run. We have some videos for posts and stuff. So as I've been speaking to you, I've been getting stuff from my videographer. He's on the road, so reactions and stuff videos. So I think them need to find themselves down at GP, because I think that is where Kartel is. So we see what go on. But we're there. Peace. Big up on yourself. Manners and respect. The justice system is what it is. There are things that need to be treated with. There are things that need to be done. Amendments need to be made to some laws, and more consideration as it relates to what is right or wrong legally has to be taken into consideration going forward, and all of them something there. No. The work, you know, you have to do the thing the right way. While the jury laws don't change given this verdict. Yeah, man, I support, well, they should. Let me put it that way. I hope. You understand? Teach them. What's up? Long time. I'm not seeing an interview. Oh, we talked about that earlier. I just needed to breathe a little, so I just stepped back for a while. But then soon forward, but man, not changes. But I just needed a break. Yeah? But big up on yourself. Walk with me soon. Yeah? Manners and respect every time. Now do some work.